Hey everybody, it is me, Vincent. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to this little Universal channel. Today we are having some fun here at home, and I am coming up with my perfect version of Universal Studios Florida. A couple weeks back, I did a version of this video where I talked about the things that I would change at Islands of Adventure to make the park better. I mean, it's already a really great park. It doesn't need too many changes, but it's always fun. As a theme park fan, you always kind of think about what you would add to a theme park, and I try to make some grounded, realistic, and fun changes to Islands of Adventure. And I think for the most part, people really liked it. So much so that a lot of you guys asked for me to make a Universal Studios Florida version. And I think I kind of knew going in that I was gonna do a video for both, but I wanted to start with Islands of Adventure first because I really love that park, and it's also a really great park as it is. Now, I think both you and I agree that Universal Studios Florida, on the other hand, needs some love. I've kept the current Universal Studios vibe. I haven't drastically changed the park. I've added some rides and I've taken away some rides. Yes, Fast and Furious Supercharged is one of those rides I've gotten rid of. We are starting off in Production Central. Now, get this. I don't know if you actually know this or not, but whenever the Minion Land was added to Universal Studios Florida, Production Central has gone away. So that main street that led you all the way up to the New York area is now gone, and Rip Ride Rockit and Transformers have been put into the New York section of the park, which is crazy. So there's now no production anything at Universal Studios Florida, no land to sort of make you feel like you're in the movie studio. This little area right here at the entrance of the park, we're gonna add a couple things to make it feel like you are stepping into a movie studio. Even though, while yes, they film stuff at Universal Studios Florida, it's not the original Universal. Hollywood is the one that's been there since like the beginning, since like 1912. It's very old. So I'm actually gonna take a lot of things from the California park and bring them to our new Production Central. First things first, the arches are great the way they are. We need to change that music. When you go to Universal Studios Hollywood, something that you hear if you're in the entrance area all the time is the Universal fanfare, guys. Ba, 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 ba. Why doesn't that play when you enter Universal Studios Florida? Just to kind of get people truly excited for their day, you need to do what Universal Studios Hollywood is doing and get that music from each of the lands, each of the rides and experiences you're going to have in the park. Have it play at the entrance, okay? I love going to Universal Studios Hollywood and hearing the Harry Potter theme song, Harry's Wondrous World, or even like The Simpsons, which is such an iconic theme. Even though in my version of this park, Simpsons will no longer be there, we'll get to that later, I really just want to hear the Universal fanfare, okay? It's so iconic. Then, as soon as you enter Production Central, we are also gonna get a little fountain. I want a fountain similar to the one in Universal Studios Hollywood, where you have the director, the cameraman, the kind of the slate guy doing a little thing. It really sets the tone, and it really like leaves a really great impression that when you're entering Universal Studios for the first time, you are entering a movie studio. This is where movies are made. And even though movies aren't so much made in Florida as they used to be, I think you could still have that, and I think that really does sell the movie studio theme that the park is gonna have. And I think there is like enough space to do that. There's a little space right at the front, and it might make it slightly more congested, but I think they can have that fountain front and center, or do something with that area to kind of like, you know, repave it and make it like a courtyard plaza, like you're entering a plaza of a movie studio or something like that. And then the last thing that I think you would need to do for this area to leave a really great impression for people coming to the parks, this is where you put all the characters, have it go character crazy. You ever been to like Disneyland in California and you walk into Main Street and that first little section, Mickey Mouse is on the right, Goofy's on the left, all the characters are out and about, and like, I think that needs to happen here. Put Marilyn Monroe out there. Bring back Woody Woodpecker. Woody Woodpecker needs to be here. And you know what? Hello Kitty, she's got a shop super close by. Put her at the entrance of the park too. I want there to be characters all around where even right as you walk into the park, there's stuff to do, stuff to see, and these will be like casual meet and greets. You know, they're just kind of standing in the corner and you can just get in line and take a quick picture. I think with changing the music to include the Universal fanfare, I think adding a fountain, having these iconic Hollywood characters from the park right there at the entrance, that's how you're gonna bring back Production Central. So from there, we're gonna head up into the park, and we're gonna start over at the newest section of Universal Studios, Minion Land. Minion Land is gonna have some changes. First things first, I really tried to like it. I really did my best when the ride first opened up to give it a fair shot, and I did like it for a little bit, but I think VillainCon has gotta go. VillainCon does not exist in my perfect Universal Studios. Instead, what we get in that space is a Secret Life of Pets style dark ride themed to the Minions. Going back to Universal Studios Hollywood, what's really, really great about that park is there isn't that much space, so a lot of the rides that they have made, they've actually been able to do with the space that they have, and Secret Life of Pets in particular is a really great family style, slow moving dark ride, all animatronics that they've kind of got into a little box at Universal Studios Hollywood, and I think there is enough space in that area to come up with some sort of Minion style ride. You know how they make it work in California? The ride is on 2 levels. The whole ride is actually on the second floor of the building, and you can totally do that here. That Shrek building, that VillainCon building is really big, and you can make the space work. So I think I would love to see some little dark ride. Universal just doesn't have a little dark ride. There is ET, which I love, but there needs to be a little bit more of those, especially Universal Studios Florida versus Islands of Adventure, and even Epic Universe now kind of skews a little bit more towards the family stuff, in my opinion. It doesn't have as many big crazy roller coasters as Islands of Adventure, and I don't think it's gonna have that many types of roller coasters in my version of the park. I think VillainCon is honestly it's a weird ride. I don't think it really works as well for me as I initially thought, and I think people agree, because even on a busy day where every ride has an hour wait, VillainCon will just have a 5 or 10 minute wait. But if you turn this into a little dark ride where you just get to sit with your kid in a 36-inch height requirement or even less, that'd be a ride I ride every time I go to the parks, just to ride it, just because I just want to get to sit in a little car and look at stuff. So VillainCon goes away, and then now we have the rest of Minion Land, which honestly, apart from a sign, there's not really any way to tell you're in Minion Land. Theme parks do this really great thing when you're switching from different areas, the music changes. You don't get that in Minion Land right now. Even the pavement changes sometimes. When you're going from San Francisco to London or New York or wherever, you're seeing differences in the ground, and Minion Land doesn't have that. What I imagine for Minion Land is, 1, the music changes. You incorporate some Despicable Me music in that area of the park to signify to guests that they have entered another area of the park. And 2, what I always thought would be really, really cool for that street is, since it's a kid area of the park, I think it'd be so fun if you had chalk drawings or colorful splotches of spilled paint, or just art, kind of how it is on the Bank of Evil, that kind of facade where the Minion Cafe is. You can do all that, put it on the floor, and have it go all the way up to the Minion Cafe, and now people know this is the Minion Street. So yeah, the land goes all the way up to the Minion Cafe, and then, this is a big one here, we're gonna get rid of Rip Ride Rocket. We're getting rid of Rip Ride Rocket, we're getting rid of that stage, and we're turning that area into a super silly Funland amusement park in the same style as Universal Beijing. I don't know if you've ever seen videos of their park, but they do have a Minion Land as well. We're going to take a lot of notes and inspiration from that Minion Land, and we're going to bring it to this one here. But what we're going to do with closing Rocket and using that Rocket stage area, we're going to build a family coaster like the one from Despicable Me. And this one's going to be not as small as the Troller Coaster, it's going to be bigger than that, but obviously not as big as Hagrid's. The roller coaster isn't going to go all the way out into City Walk. It's not going to go all the way out into New York. I think with the space that they have where the station is and the Rocket stage, you can use that and build an adequate sized family coaster. And you can, even for fun, let's go ahead and make it a midway. Let's put some games there. Let's put some Minion games. Universal loves their carnival games, and we're going to be getting rid of the Simpsons land. The games are going to have to go somewhere. Let's bring them to the front of the park right by the new super silly fun coaster. I think we can get rid of that big Rip Ride Rocket coaster, which I think a lot of people would say is maybe one of their least favorite roller coasters at Universal, and put something that'll be very popular. It's branded to the Minions. It's actually branded to something in the park. Rip Ride Rocket, the whole idea was that you're making a music video, and I don't know, it just always felt kind of out of place anyway. So I think you can get rid of that roller coaster and do something really, really great with that space, which would be a family-friendly, kind of bigger Minion coaster. From Minion Land, we head over to New York. And I know you guys are getting your forks ready, you're licking your lips. You're gonna go, oh, he's gonna get rid of the Jimmy Fallon ride. Actually, in my version of Universal Studios, Jimmy Fallon stays. Jimmy Fallon stays. You know what? I think people don't give that ride enough credit. Yes, it is a simple motion 3D simulator ride, but guess what? You need that kind of stuff, okay? Not everybody wants to get flipped around on Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey or the Simpsons ride. Like, you just need a little thing like that. And that ride is super family friendly. It is very New York. I love the 30 Rock building. I love the lobby with all the Tonight Show history. I think it's a really, really cool ride. I think it fits in the park. It stays. But if we go a little further, now that Rip Ride Rockit is gone and it's not going through a certain firehouse based off of a certain movie, I think it is time to bring back the Ghostbusters to Universal Studios Florida in that area. That little corner of New York becomes like a Ghostbusters corner. Now, there's not going to be a ride, but you are going to have, the firehouse is going to be open again, and they're going to make it a kind of semi-interactive walkthrough experience, kind of like the firehouse at Magic Kingdom. You're gonna have Universal's version of the Magic Kingdom firehouse themed to the Ghostbusters. You're gonna have a big Ecto-1 in there. You're gonna have their lockers with all the proton packs and all that stuff. And then you're gonna have the characters out and about for meet and greets. So people are gonna get to meet the Ghostbusters. They're gonna get to take pictures with them, kind of like how it used to be. And then what we're gonna do is, for added fun, we love snack carts. We're gonna go ahead and add a Ghostbusters themed snack cart to that area, and you can sell some like Ecto Cooler and, you know, some Slimer cupcakes or something like that. You know what I mean? Sell some Ghostbusters themed food, have the Ecto-1 out in display so people can take pictures with it, they can look inside of it, and then have some actors as the Ghostbusters. And you know what? You even change the music in that area too, to have the jazzy Ghostbusters theme playing. I thought about like maybe you could do the show again on the steps. They used to have a show where they would dance on the New York Public Library steps, and, you know, Beetlejuice would like take over their bodies and they all start dancing. You could do that. That's kind of like a take it or leave it thing for me. I think that show kind of made sense back then. Not having them dance around to like Meghan Trainor will keep the dignity of the Ghostbusters for a lot of people, and I think having just a meet and greet or an interactive walkthrough is a nice little extra thing in the park that isn't a ride or a show, and you get to meet the Ghostbusters. So Ghostbusters are back, baby. And honestly, overall, the New York section of the park is a pretty great area of Universal Studios. It's actually one of my favorite sections of that park, so I don't really have much to say. Like, the Mummy doesn't need to get changed, in my opinion. Anything, all the theming in the land, I think is really great. None of that really needs to change, but we are gonna get rid of something, and I think this could be a dicey topic, but I've got a good alternative to it, okay? There's a really popular restaurant. It's called Louie's. This is like the pizza place at Universal Studios Florida. I think they actually make the pizza at Louie's, which is really, really nice. Like, sometimes you can see them making the dough and stuff like that. So the pizza's like decent quality for a theme park. We're gonna close Louie's. We're getting rid of Louie's. No more pizza place there. What we're gonna do with that space and maybe a little bit of the backstage area, I kind of looked on Google Maps and I saw that there was like enough space. You know what ride I've been giving such high praise for that I really love that I'm gonna bring to this park? Secret Life of Pets, baby. They're already in New York. They got the dogs in the windows. The whole ride takes place in New York. We're doing a copy and paste just to have some more things like that in the park. We are putting the Secret Life of Pets right in that corner too. And also what that does is when people are coming from San Francisco to New York, they've got a ride right there that they can see. And I think that would be such a fun idea. That ride, like I said, doesn't really take up a lot of space. You just put the ride on the second level, the queue on the first level, and I think it would fit. And it's also one more family-friendly everybody ride, right? Now, what do we do about the pizza situation? Oh no! We move pizza to Finnegan's. Finnegan's becomes a full-service, sit-down pizza restaurant, okay? The bar, don't worry, it stays. The bar gets to stay, and I mean, I guess I can keep the Finnegan's name, even though I know it's like an Irish thing. It doesn't really match up with the pizza name, but like, we get a full-service pizza restaurant. and I want it to be like Via Napoli. You know what I mean? Where like Via Napoli over at Epcot, the pizza there is so good because they use the same water as from like Pennsylvania or something like that, where like the pH level is the same level as like the water from Italy. This restaurant, they're gonna import New York City water by the gallons, and that's how they're gonna make their pizza dough, with New York City water. And that's just gonna make the pizza even better than what currently exists at Louis'. So Secret Life of Pets gets rid of Louis', but Louis' becomes a new sit-down restaurant at the place of Finnegan's. Don't worry, the bar stays. Next land over is San Francisco, home of everybody's favorite ride, Fast and Furious Supercharged. And as you would imagine, Fast and Furious goes away. But we still keep this as Fast and Furious. You see, I don't know if you've actually taken a good look at that Fast and Furious building. It's gigantic, okay? It is like really, really big. Too big for its own good, really. Looking at it on Google Maps, it almost looks like the same size as the Gringotts ride building, which is crazy to me. So this could go either one of two ways. The way I see it with Fast and Furious is, like, it is such an easy franchise to build a ride for. You can just build a roller coaster that goes fast, put cars out from the movie at the entrance, say this is the Fast and Furious roller coaster, and people will not have a problem with it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just fast cars. That's it. So I think you're either gonna do one of two things with this space. You're gonna flatten that building and you're gonna build a good scaled roller coaster, kind of like Hollywood Dream, where you're gonna use that space for the roller coaster, but then this is also gonna go through the San Francisco area and even out into the water, kind of over and around Lombards. That's how you kind of give it more space. Or you keep the building and you try to make some sort of indoor racing drift style roller coaster. You know, this part of the Gringotts ride that I always think of like Fast and Furious for some reason. It's the way the ride vehicle drifts and turns in certain scenes. Imagine you're on an indoor roller coaster in the dark, and it's meant to be like you're going down the hills of San Francisco at night, and the car is like hitting these turns and things like that. And I know what you're thinking, like, oh, that's Tokyo Drift. It's like a Japanese thing. Well, what's really cool about San Francisco is it's actually a very, very large Japanese population. They have a whole area of San Francisco called Japantown, and that's what we would retheme this section of San Francisco to. We would make it the Japantown section of San Francisco, and that would allow a sort of Tokyo Drift style ride. And you can even have the actors from the movies come back. You know, who I love is my favorite character from those movies, Han. You could bring that actor back and he could be like, hey, welcome to Tokyo Drift San Francisco version or something, you know? Depending on how it goes, like if you did an outdoor roller coaster, it'd be a little bit more intense. But if you did the indoor one, I think an indoor roller coaster in the dark, maybe like Crush's Coaster or Gringotts, maybe more Crush's Coaster. I think you can do a little bit more roller coastery versus the Gringotts ride system. That's my suggestion, an indoor Crush coaster style spinning coaster themed to Tokyo Drift style racing in Japantown, San Francisco. Then we head to Diagon Alley, and kind of like Hogsmeade Village, I really don't have many notes for the Harry Potter sections of the park. Harry Potter's pretty fantastic as it is. It is a really big deal for a lot of people, and it's some of the best theme park lands you're gonna find anywhere. So because of that, I don't really have anything to change. I guess the big thing that I would say, just like Hogsmeade in my previous video, Diagon Alley needs more spells. There's a lot of spells at Diagon Alley already, don't get me wrong, but we could do with a little more, just a few more spells to really, really keep people busy when they're in that land. I don't think there needs to be another ride. I think Gringotts is good enough. And whenever Epic Universe opens up the Ministry of Magic, like, there's gonna be enough Harry Potter rides at Universal to shake a stick at. So I don't think I need to add another Harry Potter ride. I think though what I would do as far as like entertainment in the land goes, that Beetle the Bard show needs more shows. They only do two. They have one based off the tale of three brothers, and then they have the Fountain of Fair Fortune. And also, fix the acoustics. I'm sorry, that's such a weird little nitpick, but every time I'm in that section, I feel like I can never hear the show properly. It's so echoey. So I don't know what they need to do in that area for people to like watch the show more, but kind of let's zhuzh up that Beetle the Bard show, because I think it's pretty cool, but it could be better. From Diagon Alley, we are starting to head over to World Expo. We get to keep that Amity Village bathrooms because I love Jaws and I don't want to build another Jaws ride as much as it pains me to say that. But we still get to keep that as a reference to what used to be. But we're going to head towards the World Expo area, and Men in Black Alien Attack stays. This is a ride that realistically I think is on the chopping block. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it were to go away in the next, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, you know what I mean? But I think it's a really great ride, and I think this ride needs the 2.0 treatment. Kind of like how I mentioned in my previous video with like the Cat in the Hat ride, I think you can do that same thing where you keep the ride, but you just refurbish all the special effects. You add new special effects. You make the counters on the ride vehicles like digital counters. You fix the laser guns so they're more accurate and they all work and they all have the same strength of laser, because sometimes I ride that ride and I get a little tiny laser. I can't even see it from far away, so I can't shoot at targets far away. It's really annoying. I think the Men in Black ride is tons of fun. It has so much re-rideability. And you know what? You don't have to like connect it to an app or anything like that. You just go on the ride and you get your score. And in a perfect world, if the newer Men in Black movies had done better, I think that would have happened already. Like, you would have gotten a version of the ride where like Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson kind of go, hey, welcome to the Men in Black and stuff like that. But fortunately, the movies aren't really great. So we're gonna stick to the Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones version of it and just focus on the aliens, some new special effects, some updated blasters. Men in Black is great. And then as far as like World Expo, that really just leaves one more thing, which is the currently unused Fear Factor Live stage. Now, I've kind of thought about like what to do with this space, and I feel like this wouldn't be a good Universal Studios Florida video if I didn't try to bring back some beloved franchise in some way. So we're gonna bring something back for this stage show. It's gonna be a Back to the Future themed stage show with inspiration from the original Wild 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 West stunt show and Bill and Ted, baby. We're gonna have it where Doc and Marty pull up with the DeLorean, kind of like how they've done before in Bill and Ted, and Biff is messing up the time stream or something like that. So they're going back in time, and there's like all these different versions of Biff. There's like a night version of Biff. There's like the cowboy Biff from Back to the Future. All this different stuff, and all these different versions of Biff, and maybe even some like historical figures are all getting brought in to this stage show, which is gonna look a lot like the old Wild Wild West stunt show. I think just for fun, we're gonna like theme it to the old Wild Wild West stunt show stage. And this would be like another fun stunt show. I mean, I guess we have the Jason Bourne show. There's a fun thing about these outdoor shows is they're outdoors. Wow, crazy. But you can hear them while you're going through the park. And as much as I love Jason Bourne, I don't think people know what goes on in there. I think a lot of people skip out on it because they don't really know what to expect. If you are walking through the park and you hear the big boom from the outdoor stage show, oh, what was that sound? Oh, there's a show back there. Okay, we should go check that out at some point. What is it? Oh, it's a Back to the Future show? What? That's crazy. I hope I get to see the DeLorean in person. You will get to see the DeLorean in person. Back to the Future stage show inspired by Wild West Stunt Show and Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure. Okay, so this next one is one that I know has to happen, and I kind of need your help on this here, because Simpsons goes away, and like how I talked about in my previous video where Zelda replaced Lost Continent, Pokemon replaces The Simpsons, which I think is widely believed to happen sometime in the future, who knows. The thing is though, I really have to admit, I'm not as big on Pokemon as I used to be. Like, obviously I played it as a kid. I played Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow. Pokemon is so much, and there's so many different facets to it. I really don't know like what to do with a Pokemon Land, as crazy as it sounds. But I do know that Simpsons needs to go away, or rather will go away, which is a shame because I'm actually really starting to kind of come around The Simpsons, and I'm really enjoying it as a franchise. But it's also been here for a really long time, and the Simpsons ride kind of stinks. They're reusing the Back to the Future ride system. It should have gone away when it turned into the Simpsons ride, and it's just like a simulator on a big screen. Simpsons ride has to go away. And that Kane Kodo's little spinning ride, like, what is that? Like, all that can go away. I'll miss the Duff Beer and the Moe's and stuff like that, but whatever. It's all gotta go. Pokemon, I think, is a worthy replacement. As far as, like, what Pokemon could have, I know it sounds so bad. I really don't know. I had so many ideas for the Legend of Zelda Land, but Pokemon, the only thing I could come up with is a sightseeing Pokemon ride, kind of like Pokemon Snap. You know, I remember playing that game on Nintendo 64, and I was like, this is like a little ride, because you're the guy on the little trolley, and it would take you through, and all the Pokemon would pop out, and you would take pictures of them. I think you would do a Pokemon Snap style ride. All the Nintendo rides have been interactive in some way, right? Like Mario Kart, you wear the augmented reality visors. I think for the Pokemon ride, you would have something like that as well, where maybe each of the riders would have like a tablet connected to the seat that they can kind of pull up and point towards the Pokemon. And based off the picture and how much they get in the picture, in the image, they would get a score, like points. And then at the end of the ride, you can kind of see who was the best photographer. And in this ride, it would have app connectivity. If you had the Universal Studios app, you could link it to the Pokemon Snap ride, and all the pictures that you took on the tablet attached to the ride vehicle would like transfer to your phone in some way. And now you have these on-ride photos of the Pokemon that you saw in the Pokemon Snap ride. And it's gonna be a slow-moving, animatronic-heavy ride. And I think this is actually gonna be a really great opportunity to make some really big animatronics, right? You can have a small, life-size Pikachu, but then you can have a big Gyarados. And I don't know if the ride is gonna be outdoors or not. I don't want there to be rides that close when there's bad weather. So like this ride, I guess it would be inside, though I think it would be cool if it were outdoors. It could really go either way. And honestly, I don't really know what other types of rides to put in the Pokemon Land. Something I think, though, that would thrive very, very well is a Pokemon Go experience there. So Pokemon Go, I played it when it first came out in like 2016, and it's still crazy popular. I don't play anymore, but I know that people still do. And like the whole thing about it is you go to different places and you can collect, even in certain parts of the world. If you go to like Europe, there are Pokemon there that don't exist in North America. Partnering with Pokemon Go at the Pokemon Land at Universal, there would be exclusive Pokemon that you can only catch while you're in the Pokemon Land. And like Pokestops too. So those little things where you spin and get the supplies and materials. So if you're a big fan of that game, you have to visit Universal Studios to get the exclusive Pokemon, the shiny Pikachus or whatever they might have. That area, we just have people sitting around all the time because they're playing Pokemon Go. You guys left a lot of comments in the previous video and I loved it. It was really cool to see. You guys had a lot of really great ideas as well. Help me out on this Pokemon idea. After Pokemon, we are now headed over to DreamWorks Land, the newest section of the park, actually. I think what it really needs more than anything is a new ride, like an actual big ride. This roller coaster is great. It's good for kids. It's like their first roller coaster. It already existed. It was Woody Woodpecker's Nut House coaster. I think there needs to be like one more ride back there, and maybe even something kind of a little bigger than just a kid's roller coaster to give adults and people incentive to go back to that area of the park. We add to what I think is, in my opinion, currently the least impressive area of DreamWorks Land, which is the Kung Fu Panda section, and you add a Kung Fu Panda water ride, similar to the one in Universal Studios Beijing. If you've not seen it before, in Beijing, they have an entire land themed to Kung Fu Panda, and it's all indoors, which is really great. It keeps you in the AC, which is really, really nice. I don't think we need to do that here, but they also have a big ride there, which is called the Kung Fu Panda Journey of the Dragon Warrior, which is just basically a slow-moving boat ride where you see the Kung Fu Panda characters and he's fighting the bad guys. There's like a small little drop. I think we could get some version of that. There is a lot of backstage space in between the Simpsons area and DreamWorks Land that you could add on to DreamWorks Land and build an indoor water ride. Now you have another indoor attraction, and then you have a water ride. There's no water rides at Universal Studios Florida. And this is all animatronic heavy. It uses screens in a really clever way. The only thing I would fix though is like shorten the length of the ride. I've seen videos of the Universal Studios Beijing water ride and it looks kind of lame. Like it's really boring and it's super long and it takes forever to cut through the scenes. We can work on like an abridged version of that, like a tighter version of that where the boat is going through, the ride isn't as long, but you're still kind of hitting all the notes that the Dragon Warrior ride from China does. Bring that over to DreamWorks Land, and now in the back of that land, you have a big, major, family-friendly DreamWorks ride. And then overall, just like DreamWorks in general, is a franchise that lends itself to so many characters. Where are the rest of the characters? You know what I want? I want seasonal overlays in DreamWorks Land. I want there to be different parties at different times of the year based off all these different characters. I want there to be a time where Boss Baby is in charge of DreamWorks Land. It's like Boss Baby Summer or something like that. During the winter time, Jack Frost, he like takes over and turns DreamWorks Land into like a little winter wonderland or something like that, you know? There's so many different characters they could use for that DreamWorks Land that aren't just the ones they've already had in the park. I don't think they introduced any new characters to the DreamWorks Land now that I think about it, which is kind of crazy to me. More DreamWorks characters, put them all around. I want King Julian's crazy summer takeover. And you can have all the Madagascar characters, you can have the penguins. These are all characters that have been in the park already. Where are the penguins? Where are the penguins? They used to be in the park all the time. Bring them back. King Julian's summer takeover at DreamWorks Land. And then lastly, we are back at the front of the park. We're at Hollywood, baby! Hooray for Hollywood. This area of the park doesn't have that much change. Jason Bourne stays the same. Horror Makeup Show stays the same. God bless it, I love it. But something that I would add to this area is a character breakfast. Specifically, a sit-down character breakfast. There's not a lot of sit-down breakfasts at Universal Studios, and I think I would use the Cafe La Bamba space. This is this restaurant that kind of gets used for like VIP tours in the park, and they use it during Halloween Horror Nights for those guys as well. I think I would turn that into a character breakfast of sorts. And you would have a full service sit down breakfast. You would have all the different characters from the park come in, have the DreamWorks characters come in, have the Minions or whatever. Easy. My last suggestion that I have for the Hollywood area, and this is a fun one. I thought of this and I went, yeah, that's good. The Hollywood area of the park is where Universal is going to have its version of Club 33. The Universe Club or something like that. Club Universe, who knows? They're gonna have that. You know, if you don't know what Club 33 is, it's this very high-priced, like, extra Disneyland social club membership where you can pay this large sum of money and have a private area in the park where there's a bar and a place to have dinner and things like that. And they have like special perks and preview nights and all that kind of stuff. It's really, really nice. It's seen as a very, very big status symbol for like the most die-hard of Disney fans. Universal is now in their timeline where they are getting some really hardcore fans, and I think they could do well with a version of Club 33. And where else would you put it other than Hollywood, baby? The glitz and glamour of Hollywood for Club Universe. This would be on the second levels of Universal Studios. I'm kind of figuring out the logistics of where it would be, but I'm thinking probably like closer on the side where Jason Bourne is. Like, imagine on like the second levels of the Beverly Wilshire Hotel in the park. That's where like the lounge and the dinner place would be. And you could even have a balcony up there or something like that. And now these Universe Club people, they have a private viewing area for the Mega Movie Parade. They've got a second level viewing area of the Mega Movie Parade they can watch from their ivory tower. But no, seriously, I think that would be cool. Would I sign up for it? If I had the money, I would. Probably. What do you guys think? You think Universal will ever do like a Club 33? Woo, apart from that, I think for that park, I've got a lot of changes, a lot of additions, but I think I've done a decent job with like not completely changing the face of the park. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna like tear down Diagon Alley and put the Jaws ride back, and I think I did a decent job with kind of putting all the pieces and kind of adding to the parks in a realistic way. But let me know what you guys think about my perfect Universal Studios Florida. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Leave a comment down below. I would love to hear it. I really seriously loved reading all your comments on my Islands of Adventure video. Made me feel really special. Made me feel like I had some good ideas, you know? I felt like I was like, I should apply to Universal Creative and show them this video. And I'd be like, look at all the comments. You should give me a job here. You know? No, but seriously, that is all I've got for this video. thank you guys for watching another Vincent Vision. I hope you had fun having fun with me, dreaming up the perfect theme park. If you haven't already and you're looking for more Universal videos like this one, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. All of that really, really does help. I've seen some tremendous growth over the past year, and I'm really grateful to the Universal fans like you who are watching this video. And if you're looking to support me a little extra further, consider joining my Patreon. Like all these wonderful people around me, these guys are the ones who help me make even better videos. Really, really grateful to them. I'm gonna get on out of here. I'm gonna drink some water because I just basically I just yapped this whole thing out in one go. So thank you guys for watching another Vincent Vision, and I'll see you at your perfect theme park. Bye-bye.